All right, quick question. Have you ever been around people but still felt a little alone? Not because anything's wrong, but because maybe something just kind of feels missing.
Yeah, man, it's that low key disconnection that sneaks around during the holidays. And it's wild because this time of year, it's supposed to be about connection, family, and parties, and friends, and tradition. But if you're not grounded in real community, it can make you feel even more isolated.
I think that's totally true. So today, that's what we're going to talk about. How isolation shows up, how community gets lost, and why we believe connection is actually essential for personal growth.
Absolutely, because this isn't about making new friends. It's about becoming your most authentic self with people who actually see you for who you are. So, you know what? Let's get into this thing.
Welcome to the Nature of Everything podcast with Bo and Clint, where we deep dive into the world of personal development through coin. Confirm it, own it, be intentional, and change the nature of everything.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Nature of Everything. I'm Bo, and of course Clint is here with me.
Still here. Can't get rid of me. You know what? We're lifelong friends.
I've tried so many times.
You've given it a run, but it ain't working. So look, if you're new, we've been talking about, life and growth and screwing things up and, still trying to show up and be there for all the things. And, for a long time, at this point, we just hit record and see what happens.
Yeah, and that's kind of the point of this podcast. We're not gurus. We're just two guys who are practicing in public, which is a bad choice. But if you're listening to this, maybe you've been doing your own inner work too, or maybe you're just kind of feeling tired and feeling kind of like nobody's talking about the real stuff.
And you know what? That's what this is. It's the real stuff. And chances are, if something that we say hits home, it's not because you're weird or we're weird or something's broken. It's just because you're not the only one. We're not unique in these feelings. And so you're probably more understood than you've been led to believe.
And look, we're building a space where those honest conversations can happen. So if you've been feeling disconnected, don't ghost yourself this season. Look for us online. We're on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube. Just search Coin Your Life and send us a message and be a part of this.
You don't have to have it all figured out. You just have to stay connected in the room with us. That's it.
Yeah. So today, let's talk about what that connection really looks like. Because real community, it's not just the people around you. It's people who remind you of who you are.
It's one thing to feel like community matters, but there's legit research showing this stuff is actually foundational for your mental and even your physical health.
Totally. Like, for instance, social isolation and loneliness, they're not just like bummer feelings. Studies show that people who are lonely and isolated have way more depression and anxiety and terrible thoughts.
It doesn't stop just at your mind. Your body also registers these things as well. So chronic isolation is linked to increased risks of heart disease and stroke, type 2 diabetes, dementia, like early death, like real things with heavy gravity.
On the flip side, when you build real social support, like when you do connect with people who see you and understand you, there are measurable benefits. Lower stress, better emotional stability, and we're going to vote for a longer life.
Yes, I'm all in for the longer life. One study even found that folks who feel a strong sense of community in their neighborhoods or surrounding area, wherever they're hanging out, like as long as they feel that strong sense of community, they have fewer symptoms that you were talking about of depression and anxiety, stress, all of those things. So, again, it doesn't have to be the perfect surroundings, but just being part of something where you feel that you belong, it makes a huge difference.
And look, we talk about naming it. That's something you can name. Like you could say, I'm feeling more isolated this year, or I'm feeling isolated in general. And because you're not imagining things, the Surgeon General actually declared loneliness a public health crisis. So much so that he even compared the effects of loneliness to smoking 15 cigarettes a day. Who's doing that anymore? So it's not metaphorical, it's an actual risk.
Realistically, it does make a lot of sense. And, a lot of that we are, coming out of that pandemic feeling. And we're still suffering those effects. So it's odd to me that we're more connected now than ever, like online in a digital sense, but studies like these studies that we're looking at actually show our feelings of closeness, like real community, it's dropping out. It's failing. In fact, one Harvard study showed that 36% of people feel what they called serious loneliness. And it's nuts to think that it spikes higher and higher for like younger adults.
And here's the kicker. Sometimes it's the people that are surrounded by a lot of people, but they don't have an authentic connection. That's why we say, like, it's not about how many people are in the room, but about how real you get to be in that room.
Absolutely. So let's for sure clear something up. When we talk about community, we don't mean that you're throwing like block parties or, neighborhood craziness, or you don't even have to join a country club.
I mean, unless you want to.
Sure,
But
if
look,
you want
yeah,
to.
community is not about the quantity, it's about the quality. You can have deep community with just three people. I mean, hell, with one.
Absolutely. Brene Brown talks about this in her work, as a matter of fact, about how true belonging doesn't require you to change who you are, it requires you to be who you are.
Hmm. And look, the more you're able to show up as your authentic self, the more likely you are to attract the community that sees you and doesn't just tolerate you.
I'll say this, if you're listening, you're thinking, well, I don't really have that. Well, okay, I get it. That means you see a gap that you get to cross and you get to close. So that's really where the work of Coin, gets in there and starts by confirming it, owning it, and then start building something different on purpose, intentionally.
Let's get practical. Like, what do you do if you've been feeling really disconnected? Like, how do you even start to rebuild that sense of belonging?
Well, I'd say first let's start small. Whether it's like text someone that you trust, like reach out to somebody. Don't wait for the perfect time or make sure that you have all the right words, because you just might not. Just say, "Hey, I've been thinking about you. You've been on my mind." Whatever small step could be that just opens a door for you.
And practice vulnerability in small doses. You don't have to overshare, but you could try saying something honest, something a little deeper than like, I'm fine, it's
It's
fine.
fine. It's all fine. It's always been fine. Yeah, for sure. And look, plug in somewhere that you can practice being seen. That could be a group or a weekly meetup. I don't care whether it's Bible studies or something social, even an online space that's social, something that you can get seen.
Yeah, because sometimes you'll talk to people that you know, and you'll kind of get the sense that they're feeling the same way. And you were just sitting there thinking that you were the only one. You're not. So don't go dark.
It's important when you say don't go dark. That's pretty smart. You said earlier, don't ghost yourself. And basically, the translation of that is don't isolate yourself. You have to make the choice not to do that. You're part of the conversation now. So stay in it, stay connected.
Yeah, and look, here's a deep thought, and maybe you felt it too. That thought, like, what if I've never really even had a true sense of community? Like, I mean, I've had people, or I've had coworkers, and I have family, but never that feeling of being safe and seen.
I think that lands for quite a few people, and probably often, because I think a lot of folks don't know sort of what that missing piece really is until they kind of stumble onto it. And when they do, it's like oxygen. I mean, it's addictive to know that you've been holding your breath for all these years, and then you have this exposure to it. It's amazing.
Yeah, and you know what? Over time, like even if we had that, we had our high school, friends, our college friends, our young adult friends, like as you move through life, like sometimes you kind of just get distracted and you go into parenting mode and you just sort of forget about those connections that used to be there. But the deal is that community is not that large group of people. It's a space that invites your real self to the table. Honestly, that's why we built Coin, not just for personal growth, but to practice it together.
Yeah, and to your point, and not in some weird fluffy way that just says, "Hey, let's all feel good and get motivated for a short moment." We're talking about a group of people that want to ask the hard questions and really want to dig in and get real with themselves and create a space for others to do the same, like all in the same space together.
Yeah. So if you're thinking like, man, I wish I had that. I wish I had a group of people like that. You know what? You might. Maybe you just hadn't met them yet. Or maybe you haven't shown up in a way that lets them find you. But we want Coin to be the beginning of that.
And look, by all means, we're not saying that we've got all the answers. We're saying we're here to practice it with you. And if you're looking for a place to be honest, to grow and to laugh and to screw things up and then come back around and maybe laugh at each other and get it right sometimes, this might just be the place.
Let's be real honest. I mean, like, that's one of our big dreams for Coin, is to build out a space where that kind of community can happen on purpose, where high achievers can come together and screw it up and we can laugh and build each other up.
Absolutely. And not just a podcast or not just a social page, but like a real space, digital, maybe physical one day, to where people can actually like get together in the same space and connect and practice and share and like you said, grow together.
We hope that that's coming. We hope that that's in the works for 2026 as we continue to grow. It's slow, it's intentional, but it's because we want to build it right, not just fast.
That is absolutely true. But here's the thing. You don't have to wait. Like I said before, you're already in the room. We're already here. If you're listening to this and it really rings a bell that's real for you, then you're already part of the Coin community.
So here's what we're asking. Keep listening. Share it with someone who gets you. Follow us on the socials. Search Coin Your Life on all the things. And if something does hit home, message us, leave a comment, reach out. We see it. And it matters.
Yeah, so like Bo said earlier, don't ghost yourself. Don't go dark this season. Stay connected. Don't convince yourself that growth has to be some lonely journey that's painful. It doesn't. There are plenty of people out here practicing the same things that you are and wanting to attain the same things that you want. So Coin's the thread that can truly just bring us all together and help us be on the same path together.
I dig it.
Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to check out coinyourlife.com and find us on social media.